It's your boy Online Davo, and we back with another video. We got a video about LJ, the self-hating neo-Nazi. And the reason why we're watching this video is because we understand that these people are crazy. Their mind is in a different place. They're not living in reality. Okay, that's number one. But we also have to see why they are the way they are, so we can stop people in the future from following those steps. So if we don't understand the reason behind it, or if we're not staying alert and vigilant on what's going on in these people's minds, next you know it's going to happen again in 20, 30 years. And then we're going to be making these same videos, but under a different name. So come on, let's get right to it.
All right, this is one of the weirdest things that I think is happening online. You've got people of color, minorities, openly supporting neo-Nazi ideology. An entire movement built on white identity has some of the loudest people pushing it, and they're not even white. So I wanted to dive into this whole self-hating neo-Nazi phenomenon. Why minorities start following.
Wow, bro. I'm literally reading about like Nazi Germany and shit like that. Like I'm doing my own little self reading about it. But they would have killed these niggas, bro. Alright, these niggas would have made it at all. That's the crazy part. Like somehow, some way they convinced themselves that they would be accepted under that regime or under that type of party. But no, bro. You would not have made it, my nigga. Okay? Y'all probably would have got treated worse. Never mind. Come on.
Ideology that considers them subhuman, and how people get radicalized or even try to be the token black guy. You know, I'm one of the good ones, right? Recently, a few months ago in November 2025, the last place anyone ever expected a white supremacist coded attack was inside a high school mosque in Jakarta, in Indonesia. During Friday prayers, a series of explosions ripped through the prayer hall, sending shrapnel, smoke, and waves of panic across the student body. And around 50 to 90 people, including students, teachers, and staff, were injured in the blast. And the perpetrator was identified almost immediately. A quiet 17-year-old student who was enrolled in the same school, who himself was badly wounded. And what stunned Indonesian investigators wasn't the brutality of the attack, but the imagery and symbols tied to it. It wasn't a jihadist attack, nor did it resemble any known local extremist groups. Instead, the clues all pointed to something jarringly foreign: Western neo-Nazi culture. Police found a toy submachine gun that he had modified and decorated.
Bro is doing it. You know what's crazy too? These people, these self-hating neo-Nazis, they're doing it. They're doing it for the white people. Well, they know why they're doing it, right? But it's like, damn, you doing hella friendly fire, gang. Like, bro, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Trying to knock off your own people, that's so crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. The mentality to have that is, that's why I'm trying to learn. That's why I'm trying to see why they do the things they do, so I can find some type of pathway. But man, it is not connecting.
With markings connected to white supremacist ideology, including the infamous 14 words slogan. And if you're unfamiliar, the 14 words is one of the most infamous slogans in modern white supremacist ideology. It refers to a 14-word phrase coined by American neo-Nazi David Lane. It goes as, quote, "We must secure the existence of our people and the future for white children." It's essentially a mission statement for white power movements, calling for racial purity, exclusion, and the preservation of a white ethno-state. Despite how simple it sounds, it's a coded rallying cry used globally by neo-Nazis, extremists, and racist terror groups. This young man also included phrases invoking Breton terror.
That's crazy, bro. Just go have kids. Just go have kids. They so focused on purity and all that. This new modern movement don't even like women. So how y'all going like what? Or y'all just gonna just die off or what? Cause y'all not having sex with nobody. You're not having sex with each other. Cause most of the people that follow this movement be incels and shit like that. So it's like huh? Like they only doing one part. Instead of going out there and just, living life and just being a cool, productive member of society and having white babies and doing what they do, they'd rather just take out the competition. Mediocre. Scarcity mindset. That's what it is. They got a scarcity mindset.
the Australian neo-Nazi who massacred 51 Muslim worshippers in Christchurch. The most disturbing discovery came from his bedroom, a 42-page handwritten diary now central to the investigation that reads like a mixture of personal despair, rage at his classmates, and a
Of
chilling
course.
fascination with Western far-right culture. And it was found that he was immersed in extremist content. Investigators found he had joined at least one Telegram group dedicated to glorifying mass shooters. And in his diary, he referenced multiple Western attackers by name. In
What?
January 2025, we also saw Solomon Henderson open fire in his high
Oh,
school
Lord.
cafeteria in Antioch, Tennessee, killing a female classmate before taking his own life. Henderson was
Wow.
black. He was an African-American student. Yet investigators discovered a trove of writings where he praised Adolf Hitler and neo-Nazi mass killers and spewed hatreds towards people of his own race. In a
God,
51
what a fucking coon. Lord.
page manifesto he shared online, he voiced violent
Wait,
white
his what?
race. In a 51-page manifesto he shared online, he voiced violent
Bro.
white supremacist beliefs and even called for genocide against the racial and
See, this is the problem, bro. All these little niggas think they're important enough to write these manifestos and shit like that. Alright? Look, bro. Just, you don't have to... My gosh, bro. If you're someone that's going down this path, you can see yourself in these extremist circles, man, turn away. Turn away, bro. Only people that's deeply hurt and mad at the world resorts to things like this, bro. Okay, you blaming other people for your problems ain't gonna get you nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, if you, like, lost for words, bro. Lost for words. What a fucking coon.
religious minorities, aligning himself with neo-Nazi accelerationist and violent misogynist or incel ideologies. He described himself as a black man angry at members of his own race. His manifesto, which he called
I'm ashamed to be black. I feel like shit being a, oh my gosh. Wow. Bro was a lost cause. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Thoughts on black people? Kill. Oh yeah, see?
Cell is just full of self-hatred. He calls himself an involuntary nigger, twisting the incel label into a form of racial self-loathing. He writes, "I'm disgusted with being black. It makes me feel worthless." He also calls himself a groiper incel, openly tying his worldview to Nick Fuentes' extremist movement and its mixture of
course.
misogyny, anti-Semitism, and far-right accelerationism, despite Nick Fuentes also being a minority himself. In May 2023, 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia, a man of Latino heritage, opened fire.
They are being led by a homosexual Hispanic Christian. What? Who is he? What? That's crazy, bro. That these niggas have this much popularity, just blatantly saying shit that just don't even be true, that doesn't hold no type of facts, but they just elicit such strong emotions in idiots and dumb people. You know, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I'm telling you, there's a disconnect in there somewhere, bro. We're gonna have to start studying these people's brains whenever they start, you know what I'm saying, taking themselves out, because we know they're gonna do it. So it's like, at that point, we gotta just hopefully we get some type of information on why they do the things they do. But man,
Fire at an outlet mall in Allen, Texas, murdering 8 people before he was killed by police. Garcia had the Nazi tattoos on his body and kept a diary professing a white power ideology,
Lord.
writing about how he became a full-blown white supremacist, even as he self-identified as Hispanic. Of course, this is not an isolated case. Garcia is part of a small but growing subset of Hispanics that are drawn to white nationalist movements.
What?
There's this Twitter account called Kaguya's Top Gal. It's like the most abhorrently white supremacist, racist shit. And surprise, the guy running the account is just some random Mexican kid.
Yeah, of course.
Haeon Jong-yu, a Korean heritage man from Texas, literally brands himself online as an Asian Nazi and an open white supremacist.
A Korean from Texas who's a Nazi? Huh?
Mr. Gypsy Crusader, Paul Nicholas Miller, a far right streamer and self proclaimed neo Nazi who became infamous for his live broadcasts filled with racial slurs, Nazi salutes, and just edgy stuff. And he openly aligns himself with white supremacist ideology, despite belonging to two ethnic groups historically targeted by Nazis. His mother is Mexican and his father is Romani. One of the earliest examples I want to go back to is Daniel Burros, and he was born to a Jewish family in New York, went to a Hebrew school, and even had a bar mitzvah. And he became one of the most fanatical neo-Nazis in America. He rose to be a high-ranking member of the American Nazi Party.
What the fuck? See? Oh my gosh.
And later Grand Dragon, the Ku Klux Klan's New York chapter. And when the New York Times exposed his Jewish background in 1965, he killed himself. These cases are not isolated.
Of course he did. Of course he did. What a fucking bitch. What a bitch ass nigga. He couldn't face the consequences. See, they all these niggas be pussy, bro. They gotta have that control over someone. You know what I'm saying? They gotta always feel like they're superior to someone just based off of something that's inherent that they don't have to prove. Because they had to prove it, they most likely wouldn't be able to keep up with everybody else. Lord, man.
Anomalies. There have been other reports of non-white individuals in far-right extremist circles. For example, like we talked about, Nick Fuentes, one of America's most notorious white nationalist live streamers, is half Mexican, yet preaches racist, anti-Semitic messages. Enrique Tarrio, former leader of the Proud Boys, is Afro-Cuban, and under his tenure, the group openly courted white nationalist ideology, while paradoxically holding Enrique as the figurehead. In fact, hate groups often...
Yeah, now these are the same niggas that's in ICE uniforms, by the way. Just letting you know, they're the same exact ones up in there. But now they getting paid a little extra more money to go do it. And they get to, you know what they say? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That's what these ICE agents niggas doing right now. They love what they're doing right now. So it doesn't feel like work to them. It's just another day out there living a dream.
Cynically use such minority members as token proof that they aren't racist, even as their core ideology remains anchored in racial hatred. All of these cases raises the same perplexing question. Why would someone join a movement that seemingly hates people like them? Well, to answer all this, we have to dive in psychology of self-hatred and extremist radicalization. We have to grapple with concepts like internalized racism, identification with the aggressor, and profound alienation, which are all frameworks that are going to give us insight on how an oppressed or marginalized individual can start to echo this ideology of their oppressors, or would-be oppressors.
Okay.
Show me the doll that you like best or that you'd like to play with.
Damn.
This one. I like that one.
Psychologists
Damn. That's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, it's taught. It's taught, man. Look at these beautiful young little girls, bro. These beautiful children.
This one. I like that one.
Psychologists define internalized racism as what happens when members of a marginalized group absorb the negative stereotypes, biases, and narratives about their own group that a racist society produces. Now, I'm going to be showing a lot of examples on screen.
Now, I was just thinking, like, damn, bro, like that shit is so crazy because it really is taught. Like, motherfuckers really be taught, like, to hate themselves, like that you aren't enough. Like, that's so crazy. And damn, these kids are like 5, 6, 7, you know, like, wow.
Most of them are going to be coming from an African-American perspective since, you know, I'm black. But of course, this applies to any other minority. Over generations, messages of white superiority spread through everything from colonial education systems to media portrayals can become ingrained in the very psyche of people targeted by these messages. In communities of color worldwide, this can manifest into...
That's so crazy, bro. Like, what? I'm telling you, since the beginning of time, they've always been profiting off of black people, bro. In some way, somehow. When they didn't want us inside the film, they'll try to dress up and portray us a certain way, just so they can profit off of our perceived image or off of our stereotypes that they placed on us. Like, that's so crazy, bro. They can't do nothing without black people. You know what I'm saying?
Self-doubt, low self-esteem, colorism, or even self-hatred. When someone like Solomon Henderson proclaims that he is angry at members of his own race, this is internalized racism taken to its extreme. He came to see his own black identity as something abhorrent, mirroring white supremacist views. Now, this process can begin subtly, like a child of color growing up bombarded by images of equating beauty, intelligence, or virtue with being white, and seeing people like themselves cast only as sidekicks, villains, or victims. And over time, they might start to believe these higher.
Or they have them cast as idiots, or like the dumbest ones in the show or something, or the most treacherous one in the TV show. Like, it's so crazy. So crazy how they do it too, but they've been doing it forever, bro. They've been doing it forever. So now it's like it's accepted within American culture. Since the beginning of time, they had us in films looking crazy. So that now it's just what it is. Like that's the character. That's just black people. They are this type of person because, man.
Hierarchical values, consciously or subconsciously, accepting that white is better and that their own race is lesser. Internalized racism primes a person to align with these ideas that promise proximity to the superior identity or whiteness and rejection of the
That's crazy. What? Lazy Town?
Proximity to the superior identity.
And all these motherfuckers, and they look darker than, come on, bro. Come on. But if I point this shit out, nah, nigga, you too woke. You see too much. Nah, you tripping, bro. You just looking. Like, look at the type of programming they be doing. It's all subconscious, bro. Once you see it enough times, you start to seep into you. You start really thinking that shit until you get questioned. But most people, they don't get questioned, or if they do get questioned, they're too stubborn to even understand, like to even check their beliefs on other people. Like, it's so crazy, bro. Wow. Lazy
whiteness
Town.
And rejection of the inferior one. Also closely related is a classical psychological phenomenon often called identification with the aggressor. This concept, with roots in trauma psychology, describes how people, especially the vulnerable or victimized, may cope by adopting traits or ideology of those who have power over them. There's a kind of Stockholm.
In other words, if you can't beat them, join them. So that's what they be doing. They believe that they aren't up to par with these white people. So their mindset is, you know what? Fuck it. I would never be enough, so I'm going to just side with them, and hopefully they spare me. Hopefully they like me enough so that they don't get me out of here when, you know what I'm saying, when we complete their mission. You know, hopefully I'm accepted. But you know what I'm saying? It's a loser mindset, bro. They're losers. They're victims. They're professional victims.
Syndrome here at play. The oppressed person comes to identify with their oppressor in an attempt to feel empowered themselves. Marwa Azab, a psychology professor at Cal State Long Beach, explains it this way, quote, I admire this person who is strong, who is a leader. I don't look like them, but maybe if I act like them, sound like them, even turn against my own people, I will prove that I'm one of them. In other words, a person of color embracing white supremacism might be desperately signaling, look, I can be the good one. I'm on your side. Please accept me. This is where you see a lot of coons in African American culture.
Yep.
Toby be good nigga for massa. Good nigga. Don't send Toby away.
Lord.
Toby be good field hand, boss. Good field hand, massa.
That's all right, Toby. That's all right. You be a good field hand and...
Oh my God, he pat this nigga on the fucking head. Bro, what? He really pat this nigga on the head, bro. Patting this nigga, a grown man patting you on the head, saying, good. Oh, man. Ooh. Boy, I tell you, I would never forget this. I can't just throw this away. I'm sorry, bro. This how they was really treating motherfuckers? This is crazy. Oh my God.
Toby stay. Toby stay. Toby be good now. Toby be real good.
Does racism exist?
Oh my God, this nigga.
Stay. Toby be good
Look
now.
how this nigga is cooning right now. Look how proud Trump is. He's like, oh, we got us a good one here. We got us a good coon right here. He one of the good ones. We could use him. Yeah.
Toby be real good.
Dance, nigga, dance.
Racism exist?
Absolutely not. And it has never existed.
Whoa!
No, it's
Wait, whoa!
It's a made-up word.
It's a very tragic paradox, as in trying to gain safety or validation by siding with the
Kanye.
powerful, they end up parroting hatred against their own community.
Yes, let's go.
What?
Influencing to kill. Yeah, propaganda's so strong over here. I'm gonna get all these to kill each other.
The psychological mechanism provides a twisted sense of empowerment, as instead of feeling like a victim,
You know it's crazy too. There'll be a black person that's a fan of him watching that clip, and they won't even connect the dots that they're talking about him, that they're talking about you. Nigga, he talking about you. He talking about he wants you to take off more of your people, so they don't gotta get their hands dirty. He talking about you, nigga. But you just disassociate. Like, what is that? Cognitive dissonance or some shit? Like, what? I don't know, bro.
they imagine themselves as part of the victorious, dominant, superior group. Keep in mind, this is all just social constructs anyways. We see this in people like Solomon Henderson's writings. For instance, he expressed praise for Hitler and other racist murderers, figures who, had they known him, would have despised him for his skin color. However, by venerating them, Henderson was identifying with the aggressor, perhaps to escape the pain of feeling like a target? I don't know. It's all a coping strategy that just turns horribly wrong. Beyond racial and identity issues, many of these individuals share histories of alienation, abuse, or mental distress. Social isolation and psychological distress are often the root of radicalization across all races.
Oh yeah, especially the social isolation, bro. I was talking to someone today. I said, bro, people, like, as corny and as as it sounds, bro, people don't go outside no more, bro. Like, people really don't go outside like that. If they do go outside, they're not really living. They're not really just doing shit without being on their phone. Like, to me, nigga, like, oh, you're young as hell. You was inside all day. No, I wasn't, bro. No, I wasn't. I was outside doing badass kid shit, bro. Cause that's what kids do. Kids go outside. They do shit they're not supposed to do, and somehow, some way, they make it home safe. That's what I was doing, bro. So I had enough time outside the internet. I didn't have time to get cooped up into these neo-Nazis group chats and shit like that, bro. I was outside playing with BB guns and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I was outside skateboarding, fucking up my ankles, all type of shit. So it's like, people don't go outside and they don't have no real outlet in the real world to meet real people. So they get in all their friendships, all their experiences online, and we already know how the algorithm is. We know how it's gonna send you stuff to radicalize you, or it's gonna send you videos to test out whether you like it or not. So next you watch one video, then it turns to 2 and 3. Next you know, you subscribing to all these channels because they all sharing each other's stuff, and next you know it, you a neo-Nazi, wake up, you start shooting motherfuckers. So it's like, it all starts from going outside and actually getting real life experience with people of different cultures. You know what I'm saying? If you're stuck in a bubble, you're never gonna grow. You're always gonna have a certain mindset because you're in an echo chamber.
Young people drawn to extremist ideologies frequently start with common threads that transcend racial and ethnic groups, such as loneliness, depression, a sense of emasculation or failure, and a crave for belonging. Now, for much of modern history, mainstream culture and Western societies, and in many countries influenced by Western colonialism, there's been a clear and damaging signal sent. Whiteness is the norm and ideal, and darker-skinned people are others.
That's crazy. Why they got the blackface nigga acting out of control?
Whiteness is the norm and ideal, and darker-skinned people are others, often inferior others. In film and television, who were the heroes and love interests? Who were the sidekicks, criminals, or comic relief? In news coverage, which victims get humanized and which are ignored or blamed for their own plight. These patterns have been studied by scholars and often felt by communities of color daily, and the effect on minority individuals can be profound. Many develop a deep sense of what W.E.B. Du Bois called the double consciousness, seeing themselves through the eyes of society that demeans them. At worst, they can internalize negative stereotypes, a process we discussed as internalized racism. Take, for example, the concept of color color hierarchies in colonized regions. In Latin America, centuries of Spanish colonial caste systems created an entrenched hierarchy of color, where lighter-skinned people are privileged and those of indigenous or African descent are marginalized. Immigrants from these cultures may carry such prejudices with them.
crazy.
Then, by arriving in the United States, they encounter a different racial schema that puts them below white Americans. This can cause a minority individual to feel doubly devalued, first by their own society's colorism, then by American racism that treats them as foreigners or inferiors. In extreme
You know, it's crazy too, bro. Like growing up, I'm telling you, I was never raised to hate myself, hate black people, none of that, bro. I was always raised to look, you up to par. Like whatever you want to do, you could do, as long as you go out there and you handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, being told or convincing yourself or learning that I don't get it. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand that there's other things that factor into it that leads them down that path. But it's like, damn, bro, like I can't even imagine having that kind of mindset. You feel me? Of just hating myself because I'm black. You know, but hey man, if it wasn't gonna be me, it gotta be someone else. You feel me? So it is what it is.
cases, that could also mean a Latino person, or often cases a black person, aligning with white supremacists, essentially saying, hey, I'm not like those other bad minorities. I'm on your side. I'm one of the good ones. In American media, there's also the trope of the model minority in some communities, an expectation that one could earn conditional acceptance by embodying certain stereotypes, i.e. being the good, compliant minority, and those who fail to meet these expectations may feel some form of resentment or shame. In American television, there's the acceptable Negro character that shows up as the black character who's deliberately written to be safe, agreeable, and non-threatening to white audiences. They're rarely allowed to be angry or engage in radical politics or structural critiques of racism. Instead, they exist to reassure the viewer that the system works, that success is possible if you just behave correctly. Their role isn't to challenge power, but to validate it. And a classic example of this,
just work hard. You're gonna get everything you need in life. All right. You don't have to, you know, we all work hard, man. There's no type of system that's in play that all these factors that's at hand, you know. It's crazy though, right? Because you don't want to tell kids and shit that society in America is built on a racist system. But it is. You don't want to tell them that because it's like, damn, some of them are going to take that as, I will never be nothing because I'm this. And the others will take it as, I'm going to go against it. And it's like, you want to educate them, but also you don't want to make it to where they are using that as a crutch. Because I think most people, they're not using it as a crutch, but it's a real thing. I think a lot of people just refuse to see it or refuse to acknowledge that it still exists, you know? And the people that do acknowledge that it still exists, they're seen as the ones being called a victim. They're being called lazy. They don't want to work for nothing or just get good. But it's easy to say get good when you're born with the rules. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're going to dominate. Nigga, you've been born with the rules. You done had people that already told you to get how the game go. You already know where every booby trap is. And even if you do get into a booby trap, you know someone's going to get you out the booby trap. So it's like, of course. But how you going to shade the other players for not knowing the rules when you hear the rules from them for so long? But it is what it is.
This is The Cosby Show. Cliff Huxtable was groundbreaking in representation, but he was also deliberately apolitical and insulated from systemic racism. The show presented black success as purely a matter of personal responsibility, reinforcing the idea that racism was no longer a meaningful barrier, an image that conservative commentators today weaponize against real-world discussions of inequality.
So let's talk about you. How did that impact you? How did something that happened 60 years ago impact your life?
It impacts me all the time.
How?
What do you? Okay.
You're at Texas A&M. You're doing great.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Yeah.
So aren't you a living example that all that's a bunch of nonsense and you could just act good and behave well and succeed?
But there's also living examples of the exact opposite.
If black people were
bro was really up there debating college kids and niggas was really gassing that up. Like when you really think about that, like bro was really a bozo. Like a true clown though, like on some real shit, everything aside, bro, like come on, bro. Like be serious. I can't even not respect that. As no grown man, you doing all that, bro. You acting like you just dominating and you just, don't you see now that it doesn't, like as a man, bro, as a man, I can't respect that. Especially because this nigga is also just being racist too, it's double fuck you. Like, come on, bro. That nigga weak as fuck.
super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say black people, oh yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better.
There's two different races of black people.
Cat, bro. You can act as good as you want. They gonna get you up out of here. Hey, remember, they was lynching niggas in suits. You can have a suit on, and they will drag your ass to that tree. Come on, y'all, let's take a look and do your ass in, bro. It don't matter, bro. It don't matter because it's not a, no matter how much, they're gonna always find a reason, okay? You're never gonna fit their, you never be accepted by them, okay? So you might as well live your life and stay dangerous, bro. It's as simple as that.
We have regular black people, like us here, and then we have Gus.
So you're actually the reason why people like us can't do well, because they've sold you our oppression and you bought it. Blacks were doing better under the Jim Crow era.
My God.
that.
Oh my God. Black people are doing better under the Jim Crow eras. Oh, what the fuck am I saying? The Jim Crow laws. Jesus Christ. What? See, she just said that bullshit and it messed up my whole calibration. Like, she just knocked me off my whole little pivot. You feel me? I don't even want to acknowledge that dumbass point, because if you do any type of history back past the surface level, like, come on, bro. Come on. Really think about what Jim Crow really entailed. Like, really, that's what I'm saying. Once you start reading about this shit, fuck being told about it. Once you start reading about it, like, I'm telling you, bro, it was not that long ago, and the people that went through that, they done had the kids that get first-hand, second-hand conversation with those people that went through that, and it's like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Just shut up.
To say the idea that behaving correctly guarantees safety collapses the moment you actually look at real life. Take Philando Castile. He was a school cafeteria supervisor, known for feeding kids and following the rules. However, during a traffic stop, he politely informed an officer he was carrying a legal firearm, which was exactly what he was instructed to do, and he was still shot and killed with his girlfriend.
I'm not pulling it out. I'm not reaching for it. Damn, RIP, bro. That's so crazy, bro. That is so crazy. Just comply. Just comply. Oh, every time I hear that dumbass shit, I just want to slap the... I just want to have a conversation with that person and let them know that it's not that simple.
Friend and her child in the car. Amadou Diallo, an unarmed immigrant standing in the doorway of his apartment. Officers fired 41 shots at him. He had no criminal record, no weapon, no history. His mistake was reaching for his wallet. Tatiana Jefferson shot through her own window while playing video games with her nephew. And of course, these biases extend beyond law enforcement.
That's crazy.
As we see with cases like Trayvon Martin, a young man who was killed for walking around in a neighborhood eating Skittles and drinking tea. Again, the idea that good behavior guarantees safety is a myth. People often grow up believing that if you work hard and stay respectful, the system won't harm you. If you follow orders, nothing bad will happen. If you're not a threat, then people, or more specifically the state, won't act violently towards you. Meanwhile, decades of anti-black imagery have not only hurt black people's self-image, but have...
I'm telling you, bro. Some people can't even fathom living with that type of cloud over you. You know what I'm saying? And I say cloud over you, I'm talking about from like society and how they try to place that shit on you. You could try your best to move from underneath it, but no matter what you do, they're going to put that cloud right over your head, and they're going to want you living like, just living a bad day. Any day could be your last. Like, some of the shit that other races got to worry about, we do. You know what I'm saying? They just don't experience it, and they never will. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. That's just the cold, hard truth from living in America and living in a society that's built on this racial hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? Just off of having darker skin, we will have a different type of life. Everything could be equal. Everything, hypothetically, could be equal, but just because we have a different skin tone, we'll have two different experiences in life. That's crazy.
So sometimes fermented anti-black bias, even amongst people of color. The idea that a black person could espouse racist views was often treated as some form of comedic absurdity. Think the satirical skit of black white supremacists.
Hey, why don't you young about to turn that music down? Where's Mike Lay set?
That's crazy.
Boogie boogie now. Boogie boogie.
or Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. But this reductive treatment means that when this actually happens in reality, it's completely blindsiding. It's insane. But there's also another piece to this puzzle. Hate has an economy now. There are YouTube channels, podcasts, and influencers who make serious money by packaging misogyny, racism, grievance, and reactionary politics as entertainment. And in doing so, they normalize some of the talking points used by actual extremists. And we're not just talking about white supremacists here. We're talking about grifters and media personalities whose narratives help the pipeline run, even if they claim they're just being, I guess, controversial or outspoken.
They're just trolling. They're just rage baiting. Niggas always want to rage bait. But this is real life, bro. This is real life, and words have consequences, man. You know what I'm saying? They want to say the craziest shit, but not have no type of responsibility in it. Right? But it's like, y'all leading these people down these pipelines. Y'all need to answer for that shit too. You feel me? And look at this nigga picking cotton like that shit funny. He the same one that got the shit slapped out of him. So it's like, these people don't be doing nothing in real life. They're losers online and they're losers in real life, but they happen to connect to more losers online, so it makes them seem as if they have actual value. But they don't. They're just scum of the earth.
Figures like Candace Owens. She's a mainstream political commentator with millions of YouTube subscribers. And, she's a public figure. Her platform is huge. Her audience is massive, and her style is everyday political commentary. But she's repeatedly amplified narratives that soften the ground for extremist ideas, like minimizing white supremacy's impact or reframing demographic fear as some form of common sense. That kind of rhetoric doesn't sound like a manifesto, but it reshapes how millions think about race, power, and grievances before they even encounter a neo-Nazi forum. And it should be noted that these mainstream voices can act as gateways to more extreme ideologies, even if that's not their explicit goal. When big personalities push misogynistic, xenophobic, or culture war content that suits extremist talking points, it lowers the barrier to the next step of radical thought for their viewers. What ties people like this together is whether they're calling themselves political critics or self-improvement gurus. Social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Twitter reward engagement, and engagement spikes whenever content provokes outrage.
You see how connected that is? Who are these people? These are hella people. What? See? I'm trying to tell you, man, it's a whole network. You feel me? And then we have the billionaire class. They already know that racism is the foundation of this country. So what do we do when we want to pin a certain group of people against another group of people? We're going to base off the thing that people somehow still believe, that one race is superior to the other. That's what they're going to do. You feel me? And they make it easier. These YouTubers and podcast motherfuckers, they make it easier to convince these people that it's okay to be racist. It's okay to have these bigoted mindsets because, of course, like, you see it out there. You see them fighting. Yeah, it's okay to view them as animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild. It's so wild that it's a whole network of people working together to push a crazy agenda. Like, and some people out there, they be like, well, it'd be like that sometimes, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but it's all good and dandy when it's not happening to you. And that's what I'm learning in real life. Everything is fun and games until you're not involved. But you gotta remember, for these people to have their movement going, they have to have something to hate. So they may not hate you right now, but they're gonna hate you eventually. So
reward engagement, and engagement spikes whenever content provokes outrage. It's not accidental. This is a tactic that's now called rage baiting. It literally means deliberately posting inflammatory, offensive, or provocative content to spark reactions and drive clicks, views, subscribers. The person spouting all this doesn't even have to believe it. All that matters is that it, makes them money. This makes racism profitable. All this stuff gets these people attention. With this attention, you get ad revenue, you get brand deals, direct subscriptions, or whatever merchandise or courses is selling. We see this play out in channels and podcasts that are nominally about men's empowerment, their dating advice, but crossed into outright misogyny and racist framing. The Fresh and Fit podcast, for example, started out.
Honestly, I was just thinking this, right? Like, a part of me is surprised that this is like a profitable business or whatever. And this may not be the same thing, but people will do anything for money. Like, people do anything for money. Like, people will let motherfuckers harm children for money. You feel me? Like, You feel me? So it's like, I'm not surprised that this is a market that people are capitalizing on, because shit, people capitalize on the worst things in society that you can imagine. But as long as there's money within it, someone gonna make money off it. So
out as part of the manosphere, but became a money-making venture with a huge following, and its hosts have leaned into demeaning women and even hosted guests that embrace Holocaust denial, Hitler imagery, and other far-right ideas, then monetize these discussions through platforms that pay for views and subscriptions. You have content creators like Sneeko, who start off relatively making innocuous motivational or street interview content. I watched him when I was younger and actually liked his videos, and he later pivoted into hateful and anti-Semitic commentary.
Of course.
Though he's seemingly getting better now. I don't know. Not to mention Myron Gaines.
He posted right back up with Nick Fuentes and Clavicular, bro. He ain't getting no better. See, niggas love to change their life until they see their views going down. And then it's now it's back to, damn, I gotta, hold on. I don't know if I could live this type of lifestyle. Hey, yo, Nick, Clavicular, stream? You already know how it go, bro. Grifters are gonna grift, man. Niggas got bills to pay.
Co-host of the Fresh and Fit podcast, last month in December was blocked from entering Turning Point USA's annual America Fest event, and he showed up hoping to get inside this ultra-conservative gathering, but surprise, surprise, he was stopped at the door and not permitted entry. It's a bit ironic that highlights that even conservative or right-wing groups reject him despite his attempts to align with him, no matter how self-hating he may.
They probably hit that nigga with the Family Guy race card of the good, bad. The dark you are. Hey, nigga, you cannot come in here, bro. You can't fuck up their little purity shit they got going on, man. You might contaminate them or something.
Portray himself to be. You can talk the talk. You can say all you want. It doesn't matter. Still nigga. Let's be very clear. I'm not calling everybody in this influencer section neo-Nazis. They often don't advocate genocide or literal white supremacy, but they do create an ecosystem where extremist ideas are no longer shocking. They're just another opinion you scroll past on social media. And the normalization of this is the real danger, because radicalization is a pipeline. It starts off in medium-sized channels talking about, relationships and politics, and then spirals into topics like women are ruining society, or Western civilization is under attack.
Shit crazy,
then
bro.
if the viewer is receptive, they drift into forums and individuals pushing white supremacist violence, or what we know now.
That's crazy, because you could really try to uplift your life and really search up videos on how to better yourself, and then there's gonna be someone out there who uses that to push you towards this right-wing propaganda and all that shit that it entails. And it's like, damn, it all started from you wanting to just better yourself. That's crazy. That's kind of what happened with the manosphere shit. You know what I'm saying? The red pill shit. Niggas is going through a hard time. They want to figure out solutions to their problems. But then it goes from, okay, this is how you get better, to this is the reason why, to these people are the reason why you're not getting the results that you're getting. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It goes from good to bad. But that's most things, though. But damn.
Was neo-Nazi material. And there are these figures who take the normalization and explicitly turn it into an ideology. People like Nick Fuentes. On the surface, Nick Fuentes preaches a familiar far-right gospel. He's a white nationalist and Holocaust denier who frequently praises Adolf Hitler and rails against Jews, immigrants, and LGBTQ people, and black people, and just minorities in general. But what makes Fuentes uniquely threatening is how he seamlessly intertwines his racism with aggressive misogyny and incel-driven resentment. He has openly fantasized about imposing a theocratic authoritarian rule, which he calls Catholic Taliban rule over America. As in Fuentes' vision, women's rights and equality would be brutally rolled back.
That's
and
crazy.
Despite him being this white race preservationist,
it's all about control. It's all about control. Because because people aren't doing exactly what they want them to do, they want to have control over them. You feel me? They always talk about this freedom, and they feel like they're being held down. They feel like they can't be white. You know what I'm saying? They feel like that. But it's like, bro, no one stop you from being white. We're just saying, don't be racist. Like, it's that hard for you not to be racist, my nigga? Like, come on, bro. But, they use that as they're coming at my First Amendment. Like, they're coming at my free speech. It's like, bro, just stop, bro. It's so pathetic. Like, it's so sorry. It's like, damn, bro, like, man.
he's not married, has no children, has never had sex before. Now, Fuentes openly identifies himself as an incel, embracing that label as a twisted badge of honor. He calls himself an asexual incel, bragging that it's the straightest thing to be because in his warped logic, a real straight man should have no desire to spend time with a woman, which he calls gay. However, these are all prime examples of how misogyny and white supremacy reinforce each other, as in these spaces, there's a long history of incels latching on to racist ideologies, often blaming shadowy conspiracies or frequently involving Jews, feminists, or minorities for their romantic failings. But it's not just that. Fuentes also delivers a steady drumbeat of contempt for women. On the night of Trump's re-election, he tweeted, "Your body, my choice," which is just a gleeful inversion of the feminist pro-choice motto. And it became kind of a rallying cry for him. To understand how Nick Fuentes draws in so many young men.
That's the thing. I don't get it. It's like, okay, you instead of just letting people have that decision to do it or not do it, you want to just take away the decision within itself? Like, what? Like, how is that? I don't get people, bro. You could be like, yo, I don't support that. That don't mean you gotta take it away as an option. You could just be like, I hope that you don't do it, but I can understand if you do it or something. Or like, it's your body. Like, you got free will. But it's like, people only want free will for themselves, but not for others. And that's the crazy part.
Male followers, we have to enter the world of his Groyper army. The Groypers are Fuentes' devoted online brigade, a network of mostly white nationalists.
My God, look at all these losers. Like, imagine, like, if you don't know what any of these people are, you're probably like, damn, they probably got some little band come together. But now that you know who all these people are and what these hats mean, it's like, wow. It's a group of losers right here just listening to the biggest loser of them all. Like, this is crazy. Like, you know that these people are racist. Like, but at least we know now. Like, at least we know, at least we put a face to the racism, so we know, like, how to deal with you. But it's like, damn, like, really gathering up like that in public, it's like, it's just okay to be racist nowadays. Like, that's so crazy.
Conservative men who see him as a leader of a reactionary youth revolt. They congregate in his live chats. They give him lots of money, and yeah, he has a well-produced stream where he holds court, mixing hate speech with jokes and pop culture commentary. Right. He spent years honing a narrative that speaks to the disillusionment of a young generation of white men, despite being Mexican, minority. Fuentes tells them a story of betrayal, that they were supposed to inherit a great America, but corrupt elites have stolen their future.
Right.
He rails that Jewish oligarchs and globalists have flooded the country with immigrants, promoting feminism and diversity, and thus have impeded on the livelihoods of white men. For many of Fuentes' fans, he offers a scapegoat and a solution, blaming the woke system, women, liberal...
Oh, brother. Oh, my brother. Oh, man. I mean, I'm not surprised because I know they're out there, but it's like, damn, every time I see one, it's like, wow. Wow.
Elites, immigrants, Jews, and imagining a new hard right order where they will finally be on top. Now enough about Mr. Fuentes. The phenomenon of minority neo-Nazis is a distressing sign in our times, but it also offers insight into what could help prevention. It forces us to broaden our assumptions about who can be radicalized and reminds us that extremism preys on universal human vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
One vital step is detecting warning signs, especially in schools and online spaces. Someone like Solomon Henderson had many red flags, previous incidents at school, an obsession with past shooters, and disturbing online posts. Yet, like many youth, he slipped through the cracks of a system not fully attuned to this kind of radicalization. I'm not saying that
little nigga need his ass beat. That's what he need. He need his ass beat. That too.
You need helicopter parents. You don't need to be watching your kid 24/7, but just, I don't know, being present, I guess. If you're someone my age, I guess, like 20s, this is not something like you could do individually. There are much larger social issues that need to be taken care of. Looking on the bright side, for people coming out of extremism, help them. Be kinder to people, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know. I don't want things to end cynically. Things will get better one day. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Shout out LJ on the video. You did your thing. Ain't gonna lie, this is a good ass video, bro. Like, I definitely learned some shit. And I think what also it is, it's like what got my attention was the last thing he said. He said something along the lines of, we can't necessarily stop it by ourselves because we got bigger pressing issues. But I think that's a part of the issue also, is that we don't catch these young people in these pipelines soon enough. And then once they get a certain age to which they're able to vote, now we're worried about them as a voter, in which their ideas are already entrenched in their brain. You get what I'm saying? Like, instead of nipping it in the bud before it grow, we're letting it grow, and then we're like, yo, we're gonna do hella work to get this tree down, instead of just stomping out the soil and getting that seed out of there. You know, so that's the battle you gotta do, because there's so much shit going on that it's hard to take care of everything. There's like people out here with no health care, motherfuckers getting shot in their face, all type of shit. It's crazy. So it's like, the best thing you could do is, if it's someone within your circle that you can see are having signs of going down this path, try to stop them before they do some crazy shit and take your ass out too. I'm gone. Peace.